Hazel's due date was February 11th, but by Sunday, February 16th, she still had not had her kids. I suspected that she was going to have them that evening as she was having some discharge, so we got all of the newest babies out and gave them some time to run around and stretch their legs, and enjoyed petting and playing with each one of them. She ended up having her kids that night, but we were a bit surprised by how many. Here's a look. Baby. Anyone get the iodine spray? Yeah,
It's on top of the fridge.
she was acting pretty bucky. Yeah. The iodine spray?
It's on top of the fridge.
Oh, sorry. I thought you got it. This is your baby. A big boy. Actually not really big. I think that she's got more.
Throw that away.
What?
Throw that away. Yeah.
Baby. I don't know why it wasn't coming out. I think because it was just a head. And probably one other Drencher maybe. Yeah. We got it red right along. Oh, cute.
You can unplug it.
Is this heating pad working? Oh, it is. Alright, that's good. So this first kid ended up being a little buckling. As you can see, he's all black with some white markings. He also has a little tiny white marking on his chin, like a little goatee. He's very cute. He's pretty petite as well. He only weighs a little bit over 2 pounds. So I was a bit surprised that she wasn't pushing him out a little more quickly than she did. So when I noticed the head being right there, I just went ahead and gave a little pull and he came right out. Not all does can have a kid with head only. Hazel is a fairly wide doe. And also, this is not a really big kid, but he came right out. He's doing great. Nice and spunky, although he's tiny. He's very, very cute. So after seeing the size of him, I knew that she had to have some more kids in there. I wasn't sure exactly how many would end up being born. So we were busy getting this little guy all dried up and ready to have his first colostrum. Not really sure how many more she had in there. After a few minutes though, she did begin to lie down and start pushing. Chad had just left to grab a phone charger, so he ended up missing the entire birth of the second kid. We were really, really excited though that the second kid was a little doeling. She is a buckskin, just like Hazel. However, she has a white frosted nose and ears. The sire of all of these kids is Cuddles, and he also has a white frosted nose and ears, and we've noticed that he's been putting that on a lot of his kids. This little black buckling, though, here that you see, did not get the white frosted nose and ears. He just has the white poll. He's got a little bit of a white belt. He's got a little bitty white goatee on his chin. So I put the little buckling back there for her to kind of just to look at and lick at. After we had taken Mocha away from Pancake pretty quickly and she didn't accept him back, we've been more conscious about allowing the doe to see and interact with the kid immediately after birth. So the buckling is there, and Willow had the little doe kind of getting her dried off and ready. She was kind of acting like she was ready to push again. I looked and there was like a large fluid sac around the kid, which a lot of times makes it a little bit cramped on space. So I noticed the mouth right there and went ahead and helped her get that kid pulled right out. And he was a big one. This is another big buck kid. So at this point, we were thinking she was probably done. Last year was her first year having kids, and she did have triplets then. So I wasn't expecting anything more than triplets. She was still laying down, but these 3 kids are, very normal size. It's very normal to get 2 larger kids and 1 small kid in a set of triplets. So I wasn't thinking that, they were abnormally small or anything. Last year when Cecily had quads, which was my first set of quads born to a goat that I own, they were very, very tiny. They were not even 2 pounds. The biggest one was close to 2 pounds, but the others were all smaller. These kids are not like that. This little buckling here that I'm just giving to Hazel was very, very big. He looks like he's big enough to be a twin. Just very hardy, strapping little buck. As you can see, she's cleaning him up and still checking on that first little buckling. Willow's got the doe in the back. She's drying her off. And I keep offering Hazel, it's the pot that I keep offering her. That's molasses water. It was pretty cool, actually pretty chilly. And they really love hot molasses water, so I try to keep offering that all during labor. So this year, Hazel will be 4 years old. Her birthday is not till September, so still a 3-year-old right now. Last year, she had triplets, like I said, but she had 2 bucks and a doe. We did keep the doe. The doe is Time. She is our jumper, the doe that keeps jumping out. I think we finally have curbed that with the netting that we added to the gate. So with Hazel having more bucks than does currently, while watching the video, that was kind of on track of how I was seeing her act. Since before she kidded, she was acting very bucky. If you have been around pregnant does, you know, sometimes they start acting very bucky. They have a lot of behaviors that bucks show, like blubbering, and, you know, they'll have their tongue out or be jumping on, mounting other goats. So when we see that, we're always kind of worried that they have a lot of bucks on board. It was kind of odd this year, though, because Bernicia, which kidded about a week before this, had been acting very, very bucky as well. But then when it came time for her to kid, we realized she actually had triplet does. So I'm not really sure I can rely on that in the future for every goat, because I think it's just their hormones are acting a little bit wacky, so they sometimes exhibit funny behaviors.
You need to turn it off?
Just grab the tripod and leave it running, because I'll edit it.
Oh.
We turn it back on and off. Plot twist. Here, I'll just grab that one. I didn't see you by looking at it. I can do it. I didn't think she was that big. No. Yeah. What? You're joking. There's no way. What? You're not? What? Yeah. Hazel, why did you have so many babies? Oh my gosh. Hazel. What is going on? Why is always coming up? I should have got this one. Wait, little buddy. We'll get your milk in a second. They're all up and trying to get food. Aw, buddy. Are you the odd one out? The all black one? Why are you all black and everybody else is a buckskin? What's going on? I cannot believe that. Second, it's not that hot. And you were getting some real hot water. Different. Yeah. Do you want me to grab her another towel too? Who? Hazel. Oh, you got her. What's the wet one? Are you getting sprayed in? Did you spray it? Oh yeah, I sprayed So as you can see, Hazel ended up having 4 kids. I thought that she was going to stop at 3, so I asked Chad to grab her some extra hot water. We typically give them, they really like really hot water with some molasses mixed in, so I had been offering her that throughout her labor, and she seemed a little chilled, so we laid the towel over her, and he was going to get her some more hot water, but when he went out to grab the tripod, I realized that she was going to start pushing out another kid, so he came back in before he went in the house to get the hot water. That last kid ended up being another doeling, so she in all had 4 kids, 2 bucks and 2 does. 3 of them are buckskins, and then there's a little black and white kid. He is the smallest of the 4. The 2 does are pretty similar in size, and then the other buckling is pretty big. He is the biggest of the 4. So I noticed Hazel was laying down a lot after she gave birth, and even while she was giving birth, you saw me pull out that last kid. The last kid was, when I looked to see what was presenting, a lot of times I'll clean off a nose if a nose is coming out. It was actually 2 back feet, so when they're breech, I try to get them out of the birth canal as quickly as possible. I do get worried about the umbilical cord getting pinched, and so you could see it was born pretty quickly and easily, though, after I gave a little tug on those back feet. When they are born breech, sometimes they have a little more fluid in their, they've swallowed a little bit more fluid than the other goats that have been born head first, because it's not being pushed out as easily as it is when they're born breech. So we were suctioning and cleaning it, but all 4 of them ended up just being really great, spunky, running around. You can see them up now, walking, ready for milk, once we get them all, warmed up really nicely. So back to Hazel. I did think she was acting a little bit, maybe just a little bit more lethargic than I would like. So she did end up getting extra calcium. I gave her some vitamin B complex, and then I did give her a few days of steroid. If I had had my ultrasound machine a little earlier and could have saw how many kids she had, I would have started supplementing a little bit before that. But she's doing great now, so all of them are just the cutest little family. So thanks again for watching and subscribing. Always love reading all of your comments. Have a great day. Bye, guys.